We join Beast as he is chasing after someone in the middle of a flurry of missiles. Getting Iron Man's attention, the Avenger yells for him to leave the testing grounds or else he'll die, but Hank insists on talking to him after finding out that he's actually alive when a missile lands in between them, throwing the two of them apart, barely dodging the explosion. Iron Man is astounded by Beast's agility as he begins talking of how they were enemies before when the missiles stop launching and guards arrive when Iron Man tells them to stop. An eager guard, though, believing he's helping, shoots Beast and, though injured, quickly recovers. The guards pulled away as Tony offers his help, though he recalls Hank falling into a trance and running off, and though Beast didn't get the answers he needed, is glad to be called a man again as he calls the Golden Avenger a friend. Iron Man turns to the trigger-happy guard, telling him to leave and that violence is always a last resort. Switching to Beast, he's traipsing through the city as he chastises himself for not figuring out killing Iron Man was an illusion when his thoughts turn to Stark's girlfriend warning him of Linda being evil. Making his way home, he dismisses the admonition, though he thinks of how she doesn't know about his secret when he hears a buzzer go off. Rushing to answer, he hears Linda as she's relieved that she's found him and makes her way up. Worried about her impending arrival, he moves quick, though he left his disguise at Brand Corporation when Iron Man attacked as he picks up a damaged mask. Thinking quick, he throws a suit and scarf on to hide a hole in the mask as he pretends to be sick. Heading to the door, he prays his plan works. Opening the door, she hurries inside, worried for his safety as she mentions the others had checked on him. Trying to convince her he's alright but has a cold, she offers to help him as she begins to remove his robe as well as kiss him to get well soon. Shoving himself away, he urges her to stay back, and dejected, she leaves but asks if she can do anything, but he turns his back and tells her no. After she's gone, he rages about, tearing his mask off as he knows a moment between them won't happen again, lamenting the absence of his other disguise. As Linda leaves, she's watched by the mysterious woman who enters the building, hoping to find Hank, as she thinks to herself that there's almost no time left. Ringing his doorbell, she knows her life depends on him answering, but he's already left his home. Later, Hank arrives at the Brand Corporation where, upon leaping the fence, lands in the middle of a squad of guards. Acting quickly, the men sound the alarm and shoot at Beast as he leaps over a vehicle to get away when he lands in front of Baxter and Patsy. Going past them, Baxter yells for the soldiers to shoot, but to only wound the monster. He crashes through the window while outside, Baxter directs the soldiers to close off the building and seal the exits. Calling to the men on the roof, they report nothing as Baxter tells Patsy to head home when Hank appears in costume, asking if they're having trouble surprising them as he's asked what he's doing there. Simply replying that he works there and that he wandered over to see what the commotion was, Baxter asks where he's been as they've been looking for him. Asking who he is, Baxter replies that he's the head of security while wondering how he can be calm as he explains that they've been worried about him when Linda shows up. She's shocked to find Hank as he curses his luck at her being there and explains that since she told him others were looking for him, that he left his sickbed to let them know he was fine. Turning his attention to the captain, he urges him to continue his search for the Beast, but Baxter is skeptical of McCoy, wanting to ask him questions when Patsy suggests leaving him alone as he's ill. Dismissing her, Baxter again asks Hank where he's been when he tells him that he's been with Linda hoping she'll cover for him, but she denies it. Knowing there's something going on, he demands Hank go with him to figure out why he's lying, when one of the soldiers yells that he's seen the Beast. Deciding to give McCoy a break, he warns him to be at his office early the next day as he gathers the soldiers to hunt the monster. Perplexed about the sighting of the Beast, he laments how everything's gone wrong, but that he can fix it if he can experiment enough. Linda approaches, apologizing that she couldn't lie to an Air Force officer and that she loves her country, though internally she thinks of how it's not America. Positive that he had a reason to lie, she's sure that he'll be cleared as she tells him that she loves him and he apologizes for being angry with her. Later that evening, he struggles to find a cure and come up with a story to prove his innocence, knowing that if he's stopped, everything is over. Suddenly, he hears footsteps and sees a familiar shape outside his door and hurries after it, seeing the Beast round the corner. However, he knows it's a fake though as he removes his disguise and heads after the mysterious doppelganger. Moving quickly down the corridor, he catches up to the mystery creature, and when he flips it around is shocked as it's the living computer Quasimodo who has finally lured Beast out of hiding. Yelling how he wants to be human, Quasimodo recounts how the Silver Surfer gave him a body, but that he needs Beast, and how by using his metabolism, which he's heard of from reports from Agent 9 and Mastermind, will be able to fully achieve true life, and so modified himself to steal his life force as he shoots out a beam that Beast dodges. Grabbing a ledge, McCoy knocks Quasimodo back, jesting that he's become fond of his life as he moves in to punch his enemy. Asking why he should be doomed to only being half alive, he spouts that he's better in every way and that Beast's only choice is to give up his life. However, Beast says he can't be human if he only uses logic and not emotions, when Quasimodo charges him, knocking them both through the wall 10 stories in the air, shocking Hank with his strength. As they fall, Beast doubts himself, wondering if he should simply die when he casts the thoughts aside and manages to land himself on a beam. Still falling, Quasimodo shoots another eye beam at Hank, who dodges, as Beast believes that he must taunt him to win, as he needs to get the villain to rely on emotions instead of logic, as he leaps after him, mocking him. He gets knocked back, but feels his plan is working as Quasimodo becomes enraged. Dodging another laser, McCoy manages to grab a beam, and swinging himself around, kicks the villain off the steel girder, though Quasimodo spots a rivet gun. Grabbing it, he begins firing at Beast, who reminds him that shooting him does nothing. However, a rivet manages to pierce Hank's thick hide, wounding him, and moving quickly, Quasimodo acts on Hank's weakness as the hero grabs his bleeding arm and shrieks about how his powers have failed him. Grabbing Hank, he gloats over his victory as he begins sucking the life force from his very body. Though Beast knows he's dying, he swears to never give up, and hearing this, Quasimodo pauses, realizing that he means it. Seeing that despite the logic of it, that his opponent fights on, Quasimodo realizes that getting Beast's life force is pointless, as he notes how badly wounded he is. Thinking of his many errors, such as how he's no more than a machine, he flings himself off McCoy, deciding that he must die. Recovering enough to stand, Beast looks upon the machine below. He thinks of how the living computer was closer to being human than he realized, and thinks on the words Quasimodo spoke of reports from Agent 9 and Mastermind, and ponders on if there's more going on and whether he can fight what it is without his powers.